Let's talk the recency effect, which is definitely a 101 topic for day traders, beginners, or veteran traders. If you're a beginner, it's something that is not potentially going to happen. It will happen to you multiple times over and over again because you're a human being. And this is all psychology. Like I said, the recency effect is a real thing. It's not me making up a term. You can do more research on it if you want, but I just want to bring it to your attention, not from a theoretical standpoint, but from a very real world standpoint, because I'm going to walk you through a trade that I made recently, no pun intended, and that shows how the recency effect plays out for us as day traders, or at least the threat that it poses to us as day traders. But what is a recency effect? Well, it's a situation where our mind is going to place more emphasis on an event that recently happened. So an event happens, and let's just say you go up and pet a dog and that dog bites you. Now, the next time you pet a dog, it can be the nicest dog in the world. But what happened recently? Well, what happened recently was you just got bit by a dog. So your mind is going to have you thinking, uh-oh, is this, again, it could be the nicest dog in the world. Is this dog going to bite me? What's going to happen? Because your brain is just putting way more emphasis on that recent event. Even though it shouldn't, because that's a completely different situation. It's a completely different dog. So they're two independent situations. But the most recent situation is influencing the next, instance when that's just not right, because again, they're two very, very different situations. Now, how does this work in the real world of trading? Let me just show you a trade, and then we'll follow it up with some more details.
327 here looks interesting. I am in at 327. Let's see if this thing wants to make a move back to the downside here. Again, in at 327 short. $327, the wow, stubborn level. Got down through it. And then back up above it. It's really just a question of, does this thing want to fail and come back down? So once again, down through 327, but this general area is being very, very stubborn. Trying to get down to 326. I need at least 326. Not a huge fan of how it continues to putz around this area. I got to give it a chance to work for me here. All right, I will go ahead and pause for now, and I will keep you updated. All right, maybe coming down. Again, I need at least 326. I'm starting to feel like maybe I'm just getting a bit stubborn down here. Wow. Now I'm not even getting out at... Oh, I did get out there. Okay. So still have 150 shares left. Like I said, now I'm starting to question myself. Am I getting a bit too stubborn? Is 326 going to break, or is it just going to bounce right off it? So I still will make money if it goes in my favor, and I still will lose money if it goes against me, just not as much money, which is the goal right now. But yeah, this thing is just being very, very stubborn. Does 326 want to actually go? Taking off another 50. Because right now I feel like it's a 50-50 setup. Meaning this thing, I think I can easily see going up, but I can easily see it also coming back down. So I'll keep 100 shares to keep myself in the game. And up it goes. Give it a little more wiggle room. And I got to, can't even get out there. And out there for a loss.
So there you go. I was in a trade. The trade started to go in my favor. It was acting a little sketchy. I took some profits, but even by locking in some gains, the thing snapped up against me and I took a loss. So think about this from a psychology standpoint. And you just witnessed it with me, watching a trade. Okay, finally starting to go in my favor. Okay, that's great. Let me pull up some gains. Okay, great, it's going in my favor. I put some profits in the bank and boom, just like that, shoots against me and then puts me into the red. So at this point, I'm not in a very trusting mood. I'm not in a very confident mood because, well, you just saw it. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to go from what they think is a green trade, where they put money in their pocket, and then when the trade is all said and done, you're actually looking at a loss. Talk about a swing of emotions from thinking a win to having a loss. Not a good feeling, but that was the effect that I had just experienced. So let's now go and watch the second trade that I make on the very same stock.
In at 326, there's the break. Can we get down through 325 now? There's the break of that. See if it wants to come back down. I'm really not trying to scalp her. I'm trying to let these things work for me. And I realized I had $1 in my favor, but that was a great setup. Why not get a couple more dollars in that? And here it is going against me now. We'll see if it wants to come back down, but again, I'm, like I said, trying to let these things work for me here. And the chart hasn't done anything wrong per se. It's being annoying, but, broadly speaking, has not done anything wrong yet. So, all right, I'll go ahead and pause. Okay, coming back down here. There's Okay, there's 325. Okay, took off half at 325. Took off some more at 324. Come on, just make a push. Push, come down like I know you can. So have 50 shares left. There's no way I'm going to let this one turn completely against me and cause a losing trade like that other one did. So yeah, 324. All right, I'm going to get out at break even there. So now up 120. So I just can't quite get this one right.
All right, so at this point, you can see that, well, overall, I'm glad I got back to the green. However, I fully admit that, that last 50 shares, I got way too scared. I became a scared trader, and in many senses, I became a prideful trader. Why? Because I did not want to be embarrassed again. And this is kind of the side effect of doing YouTube videos. You always got to, I call it the YouTube voice. It's like, oh great, do I want to look like, no, I can't look stupid again. So yes, there's some pride in there from a YouTube voice standpoint, but there's also fear. There's fear in there because what happened recently to me? Well, you saw what happened recently. I was in, it was looking good, I was green, and then boom, I was in the red. And in my mind, I don't want these last 50 shares to wipe away all my gains, to put me at break even, or maybe to put me back in the red, because right now I'm green. And if I just get out right here at those 50 shares, then at least I'm green, because I don't want to be embarrassed. Why? Well, because I just remember what happened to me recently. So the recency effect completely stuck its thorn in my side, because now let me go to my desktop and let me walk you through what happened next, and then go over some basic math, which just shows you how costly the recency effect was in this situation. So right here is essentially right where I got out at $326, but let's see what happened with the rest of the trade. Again, took out my final 50 shares there, but what happened next? Well, you can see the next candle, red, came down, and I should note that there's been no crazy price spikes, so it's not unreasonable at all for me to, assume that I could still have been in. Because again, nothing crazy happened. Price didn't shoot upwards, but you can see, look at that, dropping. And as a spoiler, that white line you see down there is where the price eventually heads. And right there, you can see hits $316. Now, I do want to be somewhat conservative, so I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, I would have played it perfectly and gotten out at the bottom. But let's just give it a dollar wiggle room. So I sold $1 too soon. That puts me at $317. So once again, my entry point was $326, and it dropped down as low as $317, which is a difference of $9 per share. And I still had 50 shares left. So $9 times 50 shares left means that the recency effect cost me $450. $450 thanks to that recency effect. And that is the problem with it. Had I just treated it as an isolated event, like I should have, then I would have sat there and said, Clay, that was a bummer. Last time that happened, it wasn't fun to have the price go against you and wipe out your gains and put you to red trade, but that's a completely isolated event. I can't put more, emphasis on that recent event because this is a brand new isolated event. And that's just the way the human mind works. And that's why trading is very hard, because you are rational. In fact, that's why your brain is wired that way, because if you are bit by a dog, then your brain, your psychology is saying, oh, careful, you got a dog here. Remember what happened last time, right? It's a survival, wiring in our brains that's trying to keep us as safe as possible. But when it comes to trading, you got to remember, okay, no, I get it. I was bit there, but this is a totally different situation. This is a totally different dog, if you will. So let's see if this is a friendly dog or not. And it was a friendly dog. Had I would have now, of course, if I would have held even more shares, then that would have been better. But I played the trade just right. I played it fine, but those last 50 shares, I did not play fine. I got out when I didn't need to because I was scared and I was prideful. And the fear, the pride came with the price tag of $450. So be aware of the recency effect. It's very costly. It can hurt you. It's annoying. I'm not sure you're ever going to be able to kick it away because it's just such a natural human instinct. But when you're aware of it, you can deal with it a whole lot better. And that's just going to give you that much, better success over time. Because you don't want to cut yourself short like this, because $450, that would have wiped away a whole lot of controlled losing trades in the future. But I missed out on that, and I left that all on the table in a very reasonable way. And it is what it is. Embarrassing, to sit there and get spooked out of a trade, and then to see that trade potentially make you $450 more. But if you can learn from it, then I'll consider that a successful trade from a learning standpoint. So that's what the recency effect is all about. Again, this is not a made-up term. It's a real scientific term in the world of psychology, so you're more than welcome to do more research on it. But as far as how it applies to the real world of trading, you just saw it here at my expense, but it is what it is. So if you found this video helpful, if you would like for me to do more kind of psychology videos like this, please let me know. If you have any requests, put those down in the comment section. I always do read and reply to all comments, so I'd love to hear from you. But yes, the recency effect, not fun, and it can be very costly, as you just saw. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.